Misinformation, court says charge doesn't warrant an arrest. 4 people are dead and 22 injured in a road accident in Chittoor. Police begin probe to ascertain the cause of the accident. The big coming up, as it were, on the South Indian. What is in store in the show today? Chandrababu Naidu talks about repealing the two-child policy. Is it dissent over democracy in Karnataka Congress? That's the question that we are asking today. Police intensify search for the criminals in the Bidar robbery case in Karnataka. This is a real shocker coming from Hyderabad. Female student raped in her own college hostel room. Yet another horrific incident. Blackmailed by her own uncle, 24-year-old woman dies by suicide in Bengaluru. All right, that's our top story, and a very important story when you look at it from the prism of what the South India is about to face. Chandrababu Naidu has repealed the two-child policy. Why? Is it even possible to do it? We shall debate that as our first political story unfolds right now. In October 2024, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Nara Chandrababu Naidu had spoken about the dangers of a depleting fertility rate in his state, mirroring almost all the southern states, and has now laid down a condition for local body polls. An individual, he said, can become a sarpanch, municipal councillor or a mayor only if he or she has more than 2 children. Back in August, the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly had scrapped the law that candidates having more than 2 children cannot contest in elections for local bodies by passing the AP Panchayat Raj Amendment Bill 2024 and the AP Municipal Laws Amendment Bill 2024. If you may recall, the Janasena party leader and minister Narendra Manohar, who moved the bill, said that the population of children under 15 years had gone down considerably in recent years. Naidu is obviously concerned, like he was in October last year or even in August, and said that he shall introduce policies to encourage people to have more children. He had sent out a warning, as it were, for people of his state to tread carefully. Naidu had flagged the falling birth rates, and not repeat the mistakes committed by other countries such as South Korea and Japan, where birth rates have plummeted. Naidu said, and I quote him, "At one time, individuals with many children were not allowed to contest the panchayat election or local bodies. Now what I am saying is that individuals with lower numbers of children cannot contest. You will be a sarpanch, municipal councillor, corporation chairman or mayor only if you have more than 2 children." The chief minister noted that the older generations had more children, while the current generation brought it down to 1 child, and also highlighted that some smart people nowadays are going for double income, no kids, the acronym of which is DING concept. He said, and I am quoting Babu yet again here, "Your parents bore 4 to 5 children and you reduced it to 1. Even smarter people now are saying, double income, no kids, let us enjoy. If their parents had thought like them, they would not have come into this world." The CM said that couples are now, kind of averse to having children because they do not want to share the money they earned and use those riches for their own enjoyment. I doubt that, and I'll ask the spokesperson. There are several factors which impact a depleting fertility rate, of course, given that union tax allocations are heavily influenced by population size. Now, this demographic shift may also lead to a redistribution of resources. Also, please realize that there could be a severe crunch in the state's workforce and politically due to the divergent and uneven population growth. Andhra Pradesh, much like Tamil Nadu and other southern Indian states, may lose parliamentary seats in the next delimitation exercise. But I wonder even, is it as easy as it seems? Because when there was a population control kind of an exercise throughout the country, you must remember, hum do hamare do. Then it became hum do hamara ek. It was so difficult to actually convince people to have lesser children, because their arguments were that these children are our workforce, and therefore if we have large farmlands, then it is only easy that we deploy our own children into these farmlands. Also, then the property became an issue that, then you don't really have to, because these were big joint families that we all lived in. There were lots and lots of concerns like that. And then the population control campaigns kicked off. I remember during Mrs. Gandhi's time, it was one of the flagship campaigns and part of the 20-point program where she said you have to curtail the population. Now, therefore, what had happened was that a lot of people grudgingly went for family planning. And there was, of course, also the draconian family planning exercise during the emergency in 1975, where you coerced people, particularly Sanjay Gandhi, and there was a big ruckus which was created. But overall, the population was controlled. Now, the southern states have gone and done far better than some of the northern states. But then to reverse it and to go the other way, it's going to be extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Let me now go across, of course, to Srinivas Goli, who is Associate Professor, International Institute of Population Sciences, to speak more on this. Srinivas, a very warm welcome to you. I have done a show with you even earlier, and it is great to have you back on the South Indian. Srinivas, tell me something. We'll come to what Chandrababu Naidu has said, but I am going to ask you, that is this problem only peculiar to the southern states, Srinivas Goli? Because I have read many articles, and everywhere there is mention about how most of the southern states are at a risk, Srinivas Goli.
Yeah, this problem of fertility decline is now there across India, except three states, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. Even Rajasthan and other states, Jharkhand, all other states now, if you look at the new figures, they have, especially the urban areas, we have low fertility. I say that Kolkata, urban West Bengal, urban Jammu Kashmir and urban Himachal Pradesh have only one children per woman, like 1.1 TFR. That is much low according to the latest Office of RGI report from the sample.
For the benefit of the viewers, because I was giving them a history, because at a time when India, it was put under family planning, did not policymakers think that there may come a situation like this, much like, let's say, Japan or, South Korea, where we always saw that, depleting population or couples not having children was a major issue there. And therefore, a lot of us went as labor to work there, amongst other reasons. This is not the main reason. What happened though? The policymakers were myopic, were they, Srinivas?
Yeah, see, the demographers have been warning about the coercive measures or the fast decline in fertility, or the universal convergence of fertility decline across the states. But we cannot talk about whether the policymakers are not aware of this fact, but the demographic community have been informing about these things, about the faster decline of fertility rate in country like India.
Okay, just for the benefit of the viewers, when you say decline of fertility rate, does it mean the choice exercised by a couple to not have children, or generally the inability to have a child?
No, not inability. This is the choice. This is the choice that now more and more people want low children, and even now whatever the total fertility rate that you generally use, average number of children per woman, that is based on overall children. But if you look at even only wanted children, that is even much lower. Even if you look at the state like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh, which are currently now ranked as high fertility state based on the overall number of children, but even in those states as well, if you only calculate the total number of fertility rate based on the wanted number of children, that is NFHS National Family Health Survey do that exercise, and they ask the question, out of total children, suppose they have 3 children, out of this how many would you have wanted if given you have taken the decision, or you according to your
All right,
choice.
Srinivas, just hold on. Let me come back to you, because we also have Professor Jyotsna Tirunagari, National Spokesperson for the Telugu Desam Party. Professor, a very warm welcome to you. Namaskar. I want to ask you that, Chandrababu Naidu has repealed the 2-child policy now. He is encouraging people to have more children. I also want to ask you about one statement which I will reserve for later. But right now, tell me something, Professor. Much like this country underwent a lot of turmoil and difficulty in trying to control population, if you remember in the early 70s, throughout the 70s, convincing people to have less children, what is the plan that Andhra Pradesh has to encourage people to have more babies? It's not that you snap and it happens, right?
Absolutely not, Sudhaji, and we are not saying you snap it and it happens. We are talking about a dynamic situation. The situation, what we call, sometimes हम लोग ये बोलते हैं ना, need of the hour sort of a thing. If you remember in the 90s, it was the same. I'm just not quoting about Andhra Pradesh in particular, but most of the South Indian states, if you remember, 2-child policy, and because when there was a population, I would say a surge at that particular point of time, we were the most successful states in implementation of population control measures. And now there is a situation wherein there is a disparity that is seen. If you remember, if you see, there is an economic impact on the states, there is a declining fertility rates in the states, and a growing elderly population in the states, and I do not want to term it, but there is a declining younger population in the state, and there is a reducing working age population in the state. So a lot of things, so it needs to be handled during that particular point of time when there was a population surge, and there was an impact of it on the economic situation of the state and the country on a whole. We South Indian states on a whole, I would say, reacted to it, and we acted very positively, and we said there has to be some control on it, and I think Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu and Kerala, I suppose, were in fact Karnataka also were the most successful states in implementing the population control measures. Now, in this age, in this particular situation now, there is what we see is a situation wherein the population, a couple of things I have mentioned, Sudhaji.
Yeah, so Professor, also, the delimitation, of course, politically it's going to come and bite you, because we know that. And you're right, you're not just Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Stalin has also spoken about it. He spoke about blessing, we used to have blessings where we would be blessed that Saubhagyavati Bhava and also have 16 children at one time. I mean, impossible, but that's what Stalin says should come back. How is it going to be possible? I'm asking you a question. Unless you have a robust plan, and let me finish, there has to be investment in education, in healthcare, in family, in childcare. There has to be social cost, this thing is not going to happen. So are you working on it is my question.
Absolutely, Sudhaji, and let me put it point blank here. We have no political political agenda behind it. Let me put it point blank. Unlike other states, Andhra Pradesh and Naidu ji do not have any political agenda behind it. It's because we see a economic impact on our state. We see an impact on our younger generation. We see an impact on our demographic. That's the reason we are talking about it. And when it comes to Andhra Pradesh, Sudhaji, just give me a moment. When it comes to Andhra Pradesh, yes, all the things that you have spoken about, with regard to healthcare facilities, with regard to women education.
Yeah, I'll wait and watch because he said policies. You can't just, you can't just repeal something and say have more children because it's decades of thinking. Srinivas Goli, with more and more women coming out to work, with more and more families becoming nuclear families, with zero child care in any part of this country. I have seen it, I have suffered it. I'm sure, Professor, also, unless you live in a joint family. We are working women, it is very difficult. Tell me, Srinivas Goli, how is it going to be possible if you tell someone who's much younger than me, at least have 3 children, they will stare at you almost ready to kill you. They'll say either I keep my night shift job or I have a baby. Tell me, without all this support, how are you going to do it, Srinivas?
What Josna ma'am is talking, some of them are correct only. We need to agree with some of them. But yes, one point is that the fertility cannot be reversed. It back, whatever, like this is repealing this two-child policy. Around 13 states and union territory implemented it, and immediately 4 states, even in the year when they are implemented around 90s, already 4 states have repealed it that time, and Andhra Pradesh quite late to repeal it. But I am not going to that point. But reversal of fertility is only possible when you bring gender egalitarianism. Without that, the reversal is impossible. Many countries tried with even not just not having any two-child policy kind of plan, but with a lot of incentive.
Exactly. So talk about gender egalitarianism. A lot of viewers may not even understand.
Gender egalitarianism means like men's role in the just not outside, like course, like in terms of earning the income or providing the protections to women, taking them to hospital, not that, but it's also within the household, basically sharing the household chores and sharing the child care responsibilities, maternity care responsibilities.
So what Srinivas you're saying, Srinivas, what you're saying is that is still not changed in Indian households, where the major burden of running a house, going to work, coming back, taking care of in-laws, all falls majorly on the woman of the house. And family earning maybe not so much that you can also employ help. Let me come back to you. Jyotsna, I want to ask you one question. Chandrababu Naidu Garu has also said that these days there are lots of couples who just want to enjoy the money that they are earning. That's a choice. Like I have 2 children. That's a choice I make. My people wanted me to have 6. My choice is no, 2. That's all. So I'm saying, what is this statement coming from? It's actually a statement on me and also my husband. Maybe we don't want to have children. What's wrong with that? Saying they just want to enjoy their own money. Don't you think, Jyotsna, that's a very, very objectionable statement?
See, Sudhaji, I'll tell you, I also have 2 children. In fact, Lokesh Garu has a single child, and Lokesh Garu is the single child of Chandrababu Naidu ji. So you can also, if you want, if that is the case, that it, if it has to be implied on, it can be implied. But the only thing Naidu ji said was the psyche of current generation. What is happening is, we have to think on a multifaceted angle, which we are not doing. It's a fact. Today, many of my friends, my own friends, Sudhaji, forget about any others. My own friends say, I don't want to have babies. I want to have pets in my house.
Yeah, so
we have seen that. I'm not denying that. I'm not. Sudhaji, let me come back to the point. When Naidu ji spoke about it, it was in a larger context. It was not, you
have to start. You have to incentivize people, Jyotsna.
That's what we are doing. That's what. Let me complete my point, Sudhaji. Let me complete my point. Yes. When Naidu ji said that, he also spoke about certain policy decisions that has to happen from the state as well, whether it is tax incentives or child care subsidies. Yes, you were talking about it. Yes, I also suffered. You also suffered, Sudhaji, because we are in a field where we require some help and we need to invest in healthcare. We need to invest in education.
Just 1 minute left.
And children. And children. And yes, there is a need for a change in the current society.
That's what governments have to do, not people. Srinivas Goli, I have the last. I have 1 minute left. Come on, Jyotsna, I have to give them others. Just a minute. Srinivas Goli, how do you reverse How do you reverse the thought process is my entire, these people who are saying dinks, double income, no kids. This is what they've grown up with. We've lost that time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, ma'am, there is Maslow's changing need theory. Now people are not looking for basic needs, ma'am. They are looking for higher end needs, self-satisfaction, self-esteem, self-actualization. Okay. So, ma'am, Josna, ma'am, just if it all because I'm a big fan of sir, since is combined Andhra Pradesh days. So I don't want and he might spoken with a lot of wisdom only. So one thing, ma'am, if you really, especially being a Telugu, I know what I want in my state as well. So basically, ma'am, 2-3 things the fertility rate declining because the age at marriage is going up. So why people are going for a high why people are marrying at very high ages, ma'am? One reason it's not just education, ma'am. People are waiting to get a decent jobs. They want to settle down. First, they want to secure their income.
No, Srinivas, we know all this, Srinivas. All I'm saying is just by announcing something doesn't work. You'll have to lay down an entire... No, come on. You are a demographic scientist. Of course, you're Telugu, but you're a demographic scientist first. I'm saying you have to have a proper parameter. It's a very good idea by Naidu Garu. He's a successful politician.
We are going for that policy change.
But just by saying, all I'm saying is, let's hear it. Whether it's Deepak Reddy Garu I speak to, I'm saying, please, let's hear it. And I will all be the first one to do a story on that. But reversing a trend is also going to be very, very difficult. I'm sorry, I've run out of time. Sorry, Srinivas Kohli, I can't spend more time. No, I can't. Jyotsna, we were waiting for you. We were waiting for you and we lost a bit of time. Not blaming you. Thank you very much, Srinivas Kohli. And thank you very much. Yeah, quickly.
That is one thing which is need to be reduced. Okay. And if you give 1 minute, I'll say what is motherhood
in 30
penalty.
Seconds. I can't wait for 1 minute.
Ma'am, motherhood penalty means because that self-sacrifice that women is making having babies, not because of not having that equal share of work, that caregiving work or the domestic work.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you said that earlier also. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. My apologies to both of you. I have to move on. Thank you very much, Jyotsna. Thank you very much, Srinivas Kohli, for joining us on the first debate. The point is that you can keep talking about something, repealing a policy, introducing a law, saying you cannot fight by-elections if you have, less than 2 children. But where are the parameters? Let them come out with it. I'm sure Andhra Pradesh will embrace it like no other state. The next story, which is coming up, is from Karnataka, and we've been constantly doing this story. Is it now dissent over democracy in Karnataka Congress? Let's try and understand what the story is.
Your promise is IGI certified. Your ambition is IGI certified. 14-step grading process, 50 years of trust. IGI Trust Certified.
Valuations can be frothy. Going public is almost like what some of us would like to say is the holy grail, right? IPOs are a trend, not a bubble.
Do secondary markets exist? Answer is absolutely yes, and it's been around for a very long time.
Valuations could be high or low, and valuation may correct over time, but IPOs are here to stay. It is basically a graduation ceremony of sorts. It is potentially where a startup stops being a startup and starts becoming an enterprise.
The IPO space has just started in the past 24 months. The startup ecosystem has been around for 15 years.
Fundamentally, if you have a strong business, and you have predictability of cash flows, and you can actually give with a fair degree of confidence where the business is headed, the market will reward you.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, we've been at this story for almost 10 days now, but what to do? It refuses to go away, and it's a very, very important story coming from the South on the South Indian today. Is it dissent over democracy in Karnataka Congress? Despite Randeep Singh Surjewala's visit to Karnataka amidst what can be considered one of the most trying periods for Karnataka Congress, nothing seems to have doused the little bushfires which have sprouted everywhere. Surjewala did try his best and came up with statements such as whether State President and Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar or Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, they can only see the eye of the fish. That's what Randeep Singh Surjewala said. But one wonders where the eye is, or if it keeps shifting each day in Karnataka. A plethora of complaints have reached the ears of Delhi observers. First, D.K. Shivakumar let Venugopal know that backroom parleys need to stop and leaders should quit asking for changes, such as the KPCC president. Then came Jharkioli, who met with Surjewala at a midnight meeting and emphasized the importance of taking opinions from all 140 MLAs on the matter of leadership change. Rajanna trained his guns on D.K. Shivakumar when it was presumed that it was him who had stymied the dinner party to have been hosted by Home Minister G. Parameswara. Now, Karnataka Congress Working President Manjunath Bhandari also joined the issue and made a public statement specifically reprimanding Senior Minister Satish Jharkioli, H.C. Mahadevappa and R.B. Timmapur for violating the party's discipline, and that the High Command had sought reports about them. Yes, reports. Bhandari said the party has also sought complete details about ministers violating party discipline by making repeated statements in the media. The party is looking into their report cards. Those publicly commenting on the party's leadership by defying orders will face the consequences in the coming days. This strong statement was made even as D.K. Shivakumar, in what can be termed as even a stronger dose, said while attacking Satish Jharkioli, party affairs should not be discussed in the media. Any issue can be discussed internally with Mallikarjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, the CM or me. Are positions sold in shops? Positions are given based on hard work that is recognized. Therefore, I am asking this. Is democracy dead in Karnataka Congress Party? And has dissent become the new reality? Let's debate. Satya Prakash, spokesperson for the KPCC, has joined us. Vijay Grover, senior journalist and political analyst. A very warm welcome to both of you. Satya, did you know where I got the idea of this story from? From you. You are the one. You said once to me, Sudha, there is democracy in Congress. You know, we believe that everyone's voices should be heard. But now it seems only dissent has become democracy in Karnataka Congress. Everyone is saying their own thing. Every day, I tell, in the edit meet, I say, let's move on. Again, Karnataka story comes up. Someone has said something. Vijay Grover had told me this too shall pass. But this doesn't seem to be passing. What is going on? Imagine a deputy chief minister has to come and say, our position sold in shops. How does one, put a lid on all this, Satya Prakash? There seems to be absolutely no room for any voices, because now they are saying reports are being asked by the High Command.
Good evening, Sudha.
Hi.
Sudha, democracy is not dead. Dissent in democracy, you are saying, but I am seeing democracy flourishing in Karnataka. Democracy is all about debate. Democracy is all about talking. Democracy is all about putting your thoughts. It is not autocracy, isn't it? This is democracy. People have every right to speak as per the constitution norms. So what is wrong in people putting them? But only thing what our High Command has said is, you speak, but you speak in the right forums. You speak in the CLP, you speak in the cabinet, you write letters to us, you go to CM's office, you go to KPCC President's office, is all we are saying. There is no lid on people talking, but it has to be spoken in the right forums is what our High Command has said.
All right. So
Please understand.
Yeah, I have understood.
Today,
Satyaji, I have understood. Go on.
yeah.
Go on, Satya.
Today, this government, Congress government, has got the mandate of the people of Karnataka. People of Karnataka, the Kannadigas have blessed Mr. Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar. We have got nearly 140 MLAs. So the mandate of the people is to deliver, and we have already delivered all the flagship
Right,
guarantee
understood.
programs.
But Satya Prakash, my turn now. If you're saying democracy is flourishing, to dissent and to ask questions is part of a democratic narrative. I mean, all in very well said. So, do you also appreciate? Do you, by that theory, appreciate Mr. Satish Jarkioli going and saying you stake the support of 141 people? Do you appreciate Rajanna saying what is upsetting D.K. Shivakumar? Do you appreciate people having dinner parties and planning the future? After all, that dinner party was done in a room. It wasn't done openly. Then Parameshwara also deciding that let's have a dinner party. Someone saying caste, survey should be made public. Come on. All I'm saying is then the little bushfires appear everywhere. Let me come back to you. Vijay Grover, I want to ask you. Asking for reports. Randeep Surjewala said कि हम तो मतलब मछली की आंख देखते हैं अर्जुन की तरह वहीं तीर मारते हैं पर पता नहीं वो आंख कहाँ है वो आंख हर जगह जा रही है मेरा आपसे ये प्रश्न है विजय जी आई एम आस्किंग यू दिस that what is this asking for report? If you're allowing people to speak like this, then you also put a gag order, but still people are talking. What does it mean? Highly indisciplined, and there is real chaos in the party. Vijay.
So that, in fact, Satya Prakash very clearly said that democracy is flourishing. I think so. It is over democracy in the Congress that anybody is saying anything and getting away with it. Clearly, this is something which is not very healthy as far as, a government is concerned, because the signals that come out of this do not send a very positive sign. And that the kind of rebellions, the kind of dissent, the kind of, backlashes at each other, these are not healthy signs. No doubt that the CLP meeting was held, and the CLP meeting should be held more often so that these things are discussed in four doors and not on the streets of Bengaluru. That is something which is very important. Let me also point out that, if what is happening in the CLP, there were MLAs who had kept their mobile phones on so that some of the journalists could hear what was transpiring in the CLP.
Wow.
This is very shocking. That is something that, clearly shows that, there are, MLAs who are disgruntled, and the party is not able to do firefighting at all. So clearly this is something that needs to be discussed in four walls, and not the kind of comments that are being made. That certainly is not a good sign for any government.
Right.
I'm not talking from the political point of view. It could be caste survey coming out, not coming out. But at a time when we are looking at work happening, people of the state want the government to work efficiently, and when there are signals of dissent, rebellions, or brewing rebellions, that certainly is not the best thing
Vijay
to
Grover,
happen
tell me
to
quickly
any government.
what I'm not, there is also, my reporter was talking to me and said people were, the cabinet reshuffle, it's been put on the back burner. Wo kab hoga? Allah jane. Then you have the caste census. Even then they said that, maybe next cabinet meeting it may happen. Then there is a lot of administrative things which have come to a complete standstill because of this constant tutu meme which is going on. So like you said, what about governance and administering a state, Vijay? Don't you think all that takes a backseat?
Well, see, very clearly the only thing that the government today is, suffering from the fact that, the guarantee scheme internally and externally are the biggest talking point. MLAs are upset that their funds are not being released for constituency development, and their grievance has been that the funds are going to guarantees, and that is something where, local level area developments certainly have taken impact. And MLAs are certainly unhappy because the promises they made to their constituents, they are not able to fulfill it.
All right.
Let's take, for example, Bangalore. Bangalore is struggling today. I mean, you do not have infrastructure which projects are getting completed.
And I think Satya should answer that, Vijay. What happens to governance and administration, Satya Prakash ji, if this is what goes on?
See, the Chief Minister has gone on record to tell in the CLP that 10 crore rupees per constituency is going to be given both for the ruling party as well as the opposition party.
All right.
Whatever you are spending on guarantees is just 14 to 15% of our budget. With the budget going 4 lakh plus crores in the coming 1 month, that will come to 12 or 13%, spending 12 to 13%.
You can keep announcing policies, but where are the people doing it? If you are only busy dissenting,
Allocation of funds is the biggest challenge.
Please don't interrupt. Give me a time.
Yeah, yours is the last 1 minute, then I move on. Go on.
We are just spending 12 to 13% of our budget, which is reaching 80% of our population. Which government has done this?
I don't know. This is not I'm not even asking that, Satya Prakash. I'm saying get the work done for God's sake. Stop dissenting. It is sending out a wrong message. Democracy is not flourishing in Karnataka Congress. There is only sword fighting which goes on every day and shadow boxing. And I think you need to really wake up. It's a wake-up call, Satya. That's what.
Can I suggest one thing? It is time News9 stops doing any stories on this. This government will last all the 5 years. We are doing a fantastic job. People are very happy with us. Winning 3 out of 3 by-elections is a point, Sudhaji. You should tell your editorial team, let us stop. Karnataka government is going to last this 5 years.
You should not do 5 years. You should do 10 years. I'm telling you. All my good wishes to you because who am I? I'm just a journalist. But your DK Shivakumar said, if you keep fighting like this, the taluka and the panchayat elections which are going to come, we are going to suffer. We journalists don't want any governments to fall. We are only trying to make it better for you. Thank you very much, Satya Prakash. And thank you so much, Vijay Grover, as always, for joining us on this broadcast. And the next story which is coming up, police intensify search for the criminals in the Bidar robbery case. What's the story? That's the story. Daylight robbery in Bidar, 93 lakhs looted, 2 killed. What is this? Reads like a film script. The police has now intensified its search for the robbers who executed a daylight robbery in Karnataka's Bidar. The robbers managed to escape from the police's grasp for the second time after an intense gunfire exchange in Hyderabad. Panic spread through Hyderabad's Afzalganj area when armed robbers opened fire on police officers during a confrontation with authorities. The confrontation occurred when a special team of the Bidar police managed to chase down robbers after receiving a tip-off. As the police tried to overpower them, the robbers opened fire on the cops and managed to escape in the gunfight which ensued. One person was injured in the gunfight and was shifted to Osmania General Hospital. The robbers, who as per reports operate an interstate gang, had earlier on Thursday committed a daylight robbery amounting to 83 lakhs in Bidar's Shivaji Chowk area. The robbers, who were following a vehicle carrying cash for the ATM, opened fire on the vehicle as it stopped at the ATM. One of the guards in the vehicle, Giri Venkatesh, died on the spot after being hit by 8 bullets, while another guard, Shivakumar, sustained critical injuries and later died in hospital. And for more on this, let me now go to Noor Mohammed, my colleague. Noor, बताइए कि क्या कुछ हुआ, ये जो गन फाइट हुई है अफजलगंज एरिया में और इतना बड़ा बवाल हो गया, बताइए तफसील से हमारे दर्शकों की कि क्या कुछ हुआ।
देखिए, रॉबरी गैंग जो लूटने के लिए आई थी, सबसे पहले कर्नाटक के बिदर वाले इलाके में अपनी लूटमबाज करने के बाद वहाँ पे गोली चलाती है। वहाँ के थोड़े सिक्योरिटी गार्ड जख्मी होते हैं और पूरे का पूरा पैसा लेकर वो हैदराबाद आ जाते हैं। देखिए, 135 किलोमीटर वाला ये इलाका है हैदराबाद और बिदर के बीच में। वो किसी भी तरह से बाकी बहुत सेफ्टी तरह से वो अपना पूरा पैसा लूटकर हैदराबाद आते हैं और हैदराबाद में ठीक 3:30 बजे वो रायपुर के लिए टिकट बुक करवाते हैं। और टिकट बुक कराने वक्त उसने जो डॉक्यूमेंट दिया था वो पूरे फर्जी डॉक्यूमेंट्स है। देखिए, जिस वक्त वो बार बार सूटकेस के ऊपर जिस तरह से वो नज़र बनाए रखे थे और बार बार ट्रैवल एजेंसी के मैनेजर को उन पर शक आ रहा था, और ट्रैवल एजेंसी मैनेजर ने जब उनको बस चढ़ाने के लिए गया तो उस वक्त भी उनको काफ़ी शक हो रहा था। देखिए, सबसे हैरत वाली बात मैं बता दूं, उस ट्रैवल एजेंसी जब बस चढ़ाने के लिए गया था, उस मिनी बस के अंदर एक तरफ पुलिस होती है, पुलिस को ये पता नहीं चलता कि यहाँ पे एक बदमाश बैठा हुआ है, और बदमाश को ये पता नहीं चलता कि वो कर्नाटक पुलिस उनके साथ है। सबसे पहले ट्रैवल्स मैनेजर जो जहांगीर है वो पुलिस का लगेज चेक करवाता है, और चेक करने के बाद उसके बाद आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश करता है कि उसी वक्त ये बदमाश जो है थोड़ा पैसा निकालकर मैनेजर को देने की कोशिश करता है, और मैनेजर उसको मना करता है। उसी वक्त वो अपना गन लेकर जहांगीर मैनेजर को लगातार फायरिंग कर देता है। 2 राउंड फायरिंग किया, उसके जिस्म पे गोली लगी है, फिलहाल उसकी पूरी तरह सर्जरी, उसकी हालत भी ठीक है। देखिए, 2 स्टेट के अंदर ये मामला सुलग रहा है। एक तरफ कर्नाटक की पुलिस हैदराबाद में छानबीन कर रही है, और दूसरी तरफ हैदराबाद की पुलिस कर्नाटक भी पहुंच चुकी है, और हैदराबाद के तीनों कमिश्नरेट के अंदर राजकोंडा, हैदराबाद, साइबराबाद के तीनों इलाकों में जहां पर हैदराबाद से अदर स्टेट को जाने वाले जो सड़क है, तमाम के तमाम सड़क हैदराबाद की पुलिस ने ब्लॉक करके चेकिंग कर रही है, और दूसरी तरफ रेलवे स्टेशन, बस स्टेशन, यहाँ तक के लाड चौकी तक पुलिस छानबीन कर रही है। देखिए, 1000 से जायद कल रात से लेकर अभी तक हैदराबाद पुलिस ने सीसीटीवी स्कैन किया है। वो अफजलगंज से लेकर सिकंदराबाद रेलवे स्टेशन, जहाँ से रायपुर के रेल ज़्यादा चलते हैं, उस इलाके की जाने के सीसीटीवी फुटेज फिलहाल हैदराबाद को पुलिस को मिली है। देखिए, जिस तरह से जो सिचुएशन मचाया गया था, ये सबसे बड़ी हैरत वाली है। ये कि बस के अंदर पुलिस भी होती है, दूसरी तरफ अक्यूज भी होता है, और फायरिंग भी चल जाती है। उस वक्त पुलिस उनको बचाने की शायद कोशिश नहीं करती, मगर वो भागते वक्त बहुत सारे लोग,
ये सबसे आश्चर्य की बात, बहुत हैरत अंगेज बात यही है नूर,
इसकी वजह से आम जनता भी उनको पकड़ने से दूर भागती है। इस पूरे मामले पर हैदराबाद पुलिस लगातार देखिए, यही तो सबसे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है। कर्नाटक पुलिस जिस राज्य के अंदर ये वारदात पेश आई है, उस राज्य के 135 किलोमीटर से वो लोग पूरा पैसा लेकर हैदराबाद पहुंच जाते हैं, और उसी बस के अंदर एक तरफ उसी राज्य की पुलिस भी ट्रैवल करती है। ये और बात है कि वो राज्य की पुलिस किसी और केस में जाती है, मगर वही राज्य में जो चोरी किया वो अक्यूज उसी बस में बैठता है। सामने की सीट में अक्यूज होता है, दूसरी सीट में कर्नाटक पुलिस होती है, और बीच में फायरिंग हो जाती है। इस पूरे मामले को लेकर
चलिए अब हम आपके पास एक दूसरी स्टोरी के लिए आते हैं। दिस इज द अनदर स्टोरी ऑन विच नूर मोहम्मद इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू स्पीक अबाउट इट। हैदराबाद शॉकर, हाउ अ फीमेल स्टूडेंट वाज रेप्ड इन हर ओन कॉलेज हॉस्टल रूम। हॉरर ऑफ हॉरर्स, दैट्स द नेक्स्ट स्टोरी। All right, that's the story. Girl raped in college hostel in a shocking incident reported from Hyderabad. An engineering college student was raped by a car driver in her college hostel room in the Ibrahimpatnam area. Though the incident occurred on 15th of January, it came to light only on Thursday after the survivor lodged a complaint with the police. The incident occurred when the survivor cut short her stay at her home during Sankranti holidays and returned to her hostel to undertake a semester exam. The accused apparently forcibly entered her room after knowing full well that she was alone in the hostel and committed the heinous act. According to preliminary police investigation, the accused was working as a car driver with a real estate agent whose office was close to the hostel and currently remains on the run. नूर मोहम्मद once again to speak more on this story. नूर, बताइए कि इतनी, मतलब कि ये ड्राइवर, कुछ रिपोर्ट्स कह रही हैं कि ये ड्राइवर जो था वो जो बिल्डिंग थी हॉस्टल उसके ओनर का ड्राइवर था, कुछ कह रहे हैं कि नहीं ये पास वाली बिल्डिंग थी। जो भी हो, बहुत ही एक गंभीर वारदात हुई है हैदराबाद में। मतलब हॉस्टल में अगर इस तरह की घटना हो तो फिर लड़कियां कहां पर सुरक्षित हैं, बताइए।
देखिए, घटना लेकर आंध्र और तेलंगाना के दोनों राज्यों के अंदर काफ़ी सनसनी फैला के रखी है। देखिए, एक तरफ संक्रांति थी जहां पर पूरे जो स्टूडेंट्स थे वो छुट्टियों में जा चुके थे, और कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे थे जिनका एग्ज़ाम करीब था और वो पूरी मेहनत से पढ़ाई कर रहे थे। उनका यही टारगेट था कि किसी भी तरह से एग्ज़ाम लिखें और पास होकर वो आगे बढ़ाएं। देखिए, दोनों राज्यों के अंदर अब कहीं ना कहीं लड़कियों की सिक्योरिटी को लेकर, उनकी सेफ्टी को लेकर सबसे बड़ा सवाल पैदा हुआ है। इब्राहिमपट्टनम वो इलाका है जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज हुआ करती है, जहाँ पे दोनों राज्यों के सबसे ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट यहाँ पे पढ़ाई किया करते हैं। वो ब्लैंकेट देने के बहाने से उस लड़की का कमरे का डोर खटखटाता है, वो अचानक जिस वक्त खोलती है तो उस वक्त उसके साथ बदतमीजी होती है। उसने कहीं ना कहीं वो अपनी जान बचाकर बहुत मुश्किल के साथ, यहाँ तक कि पुलिस ने लिखा है उस कॉलेज का जो सिचुएशन हमने जो देखा है, बहुत मुश्किल से उसने अपनी जान बचाकर 100 को कॉल करती है और पुलिस से मदद मांगने के बाद कहीं ना कहीं उस लड़की को राहत मिलती है। फिर लोग उस अक्यूज को पुलिस कस्टडी में लेकर पूछताछ कर रही है। देखिए, अंदाजा यही लगाया जा रहा है कि वो उस बिल्डिंग के मालिक का रिश्तेदार था, वो उसी कॉलेज के अंदर ड्राइविंग करता था, वो जान पहचान था, वो पूरी तरह इस कॉलेज पे नजर बनाए रखा था कि कौन लड़कियां छुट्टियों पे जा रहे हैं, कौन पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं। जब देखिए पूरे लड़कियां छुट्टियों पे जाने के बाद उसको मौका मिला और उसी वक्त इसने बदतमीजी की। फिर लोग पुलिस केस दर्ज करके उसको कस्टडी में लेकर पूछताछ कर रही है। दूसरी तरफ जो पीड़ित लड़की है उसको मेडिकल जांच के लिए भेज दिया गया है।
Much Noor Mohammed for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed. It seems like it's a day of horrors. Yet another story, but this time from Bengaluru. Blackmailed by her own uncle, 24-year-old woman dies by suicide in Bengaluru. Blackmailed by her own uncle and she dies by suicide. This young woman. That women are most unsafe in their own homes became evident with the death by suicide of a young woman in Bengaluru. 24-year-old Suhasi Singh, a software engineer, ended her life after continuous harassment from her own uncle, Praveen Singh, on 12 January at Radha Hotel on ITPL Main Road. Suhasi had been living with Praveen Singh and his wife in SVS Paradise Apartments in KR Puram, and initially, according to reports, she allegedly shared an intimate relationship with Praveen. Over time, their relationship turned intimate, which Praveen recorded without her knowledge. When Suhasi tried to distance herself and move on, Praveen became very enraged after discovering that she was chatting with another man as well. It was at this juncture that Praveen began recording more videos without her knowledge. When Suhasi tried to distance herself and move on, Praveen lost his cool, and also because she had said that she was now in a relationship with someone else. On 12th of January, Praveen booked a hotel room, as he would do often, and insisted Suhasi meet him. He showed her the private videos stored on a pen drive and threatened them to send them to her parents if she refused to concede to his demands. Suhasi was completely distraught and seemed to have lost all her sense of rationality at this point. She bought petrol from a nearby station and returned to the hotel room. She poured it on herself and then set herself on fire. Praveen reportedly tried to douse the fire by taking her to the bathroom and turning on the shower. However, by then, Suhasi had suffered severe burns. The 24-year-old girl was rushed to Victoria Hospital but succumbed to her injuries at 10 p.m. on the same day. The HAL police registered an FIR and arrested Praveen Singh on charges of abetment to suicide. He is currently in custody. As the investigations continue, on your screen, the man in blue jeans and a t-shirt is the alleged accused. And for more on this, my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah brings us up to speed. Waji, I mean, there are horrific stories and more, but this seems to really kind of set everyone's teeth on edge. You know, this is so terrible. Over to you, Waji.
Well, indeed, so the house is a place where you feel safe, but if you're in your own house, if you have a predator, then this is something that's going to shock you. Because this particular incident where this man on the screen is believed to have been blackmailing this girl who's in IT, who works as a techie, and it is also said that he initially they had a relationship because they were in the same house. She's believed to be the daughter of the wife of the accused husband. So they were very close relationship, and she was living there because she was working here in Bengaluru. And in the meantime, this guy had started recording videos of her. And like you mentioned, how the girl then suddenly started having a relationship with another person outside, and she wanted to stop all this that was happening between them. But he wasn't ready to stop this relationship that he had with this girl. And then what happened? He called her to a hotel, and in the hotel, to make him learn a lesson by this, the woman tried to burn herself, tried to put herself on fire. And that is when he tried to stop her, because he realized that if this happens here, he'll also get stuck. And he tried to take her to the toilet and open the shower over there so that the fire could be doused, but it was too late. And this incident has really shocked everyone.
I mean,
because
the man,
if your own house is not safe.
Yeah, it's not safe, and also a lesson that a lot of men don't learn is no means no. I don't think this man on the screen learned that. And also look at his expression. He seems to be very blasé, as if nothing has happened, as if life goes on. Thank you so much, Mohammed Wajillah. What are we, the times that we are living in? Really, really very, very sad. And the next story is coming from Kerala. Mystery surrounding Gopan Swami's death deepens, even as prelim post-mortem report reveals no anomalies. That's the story, mystery surrounding Gopan Swami's death, which is now deepened. The mystery has deepened after the burial of Gopan Swami, 72-year-old retired head load worker in Kerala, and it keeps deepening because according to detailed reports including toxicology, forensic and pathology, they are expected in a few coming days, and one doesn't know what that will have. But even in the preliminary findings in the post-mortem, it suggests no anomalies. The report confirmed there were no injuries or wounds on the body, nor any indications of poisoning or anything that had impacted his internal organs. Gopan Swami's body was exhumed and taken for post-mortem on the orders of the Kerala High Court, which was unconvinced by the family's claims that Gopan Swami, who was of course a very deeply religious man, had attained samadhi, a spiritual state of liberation. The family of course says it's their fundamental right to bury Gopan Swami the way they wanted to according to their beliefs. So what else is the story on Gopan Swami? Let me go across to my colleague Vivek Narayan for more on this, but as of now, let me also tell you that there are several questions regarding the case, and they all remain even as Vivek tries to join us. A grand Samadhi ceremony has been planned for Gopan Swami by his family at the same location where he was previously buried. So all this, thing about whether you can actually bury a man like that because you believe in some religious ceremonies or not, that remains a question. Although the High Court was very clear that, listen, whether a man dies at home or in hospital, you need to have a death certificate. First, the law of the land, and then your religious beliefs. Vivek Narayan will join us, but then as of now, we are not getting connections. So therefore, I will have to say goodbye to you. So let me say goodbye to all of you. The week has come to an end, and the South Indian says, Vanakkam, goodbye to you, but with the promise that Monday, many stories, many opinions and several ideas. So until then, have a fantastic weekend, all you lovely people. Thank you.
If it's a cancer, then what?
It's very distressing.
Anyone can have cancer.
मेंटालिटी है कि ये बीमारी मुझे नहीं हो सकती.
There's a thing called cancer is right inside me.
सबसे पहले जो होता है ना, डर जो होता है कि now at the end of the world.
My life went upside down.
Stigma associated with it, which is very scary.
In our country, more than 14 lakh people get diagnosed with cancer every year. Out of that, more than 9 lakhs die every year because of cancer.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
deep dive into what matters to you the most. Angles you won't find anywhere else. News that impacts your life.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
Valuations can be frothy. Going public is almost like what some of us would like to say is the holy grail, right?